Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Joy. Thank you guys for tuning in once again. So I saw some clips of some older Gen X women, talking about their stories about men and teaching younger women how to decenter men, and I thought to share with us. So basically the first clip, well, she's not a Gen X woman, but she's in her 40s, and according to her, she had a bad experience with a man that she trusted, and he used her, and when he was done, he discarded her.
I don't expect anybody to watch this. This is just going to be me kind of like vomiting my feelings out into the universe. But I'm 41 years old. And if I could give one piece of advice to women who are younger than me, it would be this. Please decenter men, sis. Please, bestie. Decenter the men, and don't look back. Please focus on yourself, focus on your career, focus on your hobbies, your silly TV shows, your friendships, your career, your education, literally anything except for men. I have wasted 20 years of my life in these shitty relationships with men that just treated me like varying degrees of shit and garbage.
Yeah. And that right there is exactly the reason why we need to decenter men, because most of them come into your life just to use you up, and when they are done, they discard you.
The good news is that I'm done now, and I'm never ever gonna do it again. And I really am just done with dating men, forever. And luckily I'm bisexual, so I don't ever have to, that doesn't mean that I can never date anybody again. And I'm sure that dating women comes and, any non-men comes with its own set of problems. I'm sure that it does. But, yeah, I truly, my ex is just one of those guys that wants to call himself a feminist and, wants to tell himself that he's a good person. And he's not, he's a fucking piece of shit, and he wasted, a year and a half of my life. He's my age, and, he clearly did not ever see a future with me in the relationship, but he kept me around and basically used me for like emotional support, emotional labor.
It seems like she knew all along that he was using her, but she decided to still stay with him. A lot of women do this. They know that they are being used. Everybody else would be pointing out that this man does not like you, and somehow they'll just make excuses for these men. Like, they would make up any reason to continue staying with that man. They rather live in delusion than face reality. It is usually when the man has finally walked out of their life that they come to their full senses. But all along they knew that these men were using them, and they would still stay back. A lot of people are so reliant on people that they cannot stand by themselves. It has to take, it would only take a very terrible situation to happen, like this one, for the man to break up, or the man leaves them stranded, for them to leave. And then you begin to bring up all the faults that he had, all the red flags that you saw, and never left. Decentering men starts by you knowing your self-worth and believing in yourself and knowing that you are enough. Being self-reliant on yourself and not putting up with somebody's bullshit until they are done with you before you realize yourself. Start realizing that, all along you were just being played. Because as a woman, if you know what you carry, if you know yourself as a woman, if you respect yourself as a woman and you've decentered men from your life, you don't need a man to tell you twice that he doesn't like you. From the first sign, you're out. But it's not the case for a lot of women. They would see the red flags. It would be glaring red, but they would still make up excuses because they're scared to be alone, because they don't want to leave that man. Then it's usually the worst case scenario when everything is bad and terrible, or the man leaves them. That's when they come to their realization. No, you shouldn't wait for that long before you discard this kind of men.
Free therapy. I don't know what. It surely wasn't sex, because we weren't having sex because his dick doesn't work. That's right. His dick doesn't work. And so, yeah, then, he and I were he discarded me in a breakup, which, I am going to fucking tell that story. You better believe shit will be aired out now. Whether people want to hear it or not, that's fine. It's fine. Whew. But he discarded me in like a really shitty, sudden way after we'd been together for a year, and then acted like he still wanted to be friends. And it was a big mistake not. He was just using me as a placeholder, and he started dating this like friend of his that he had feelings for. They've been together for 3 months. He took her to meet his family for Christmas. I never met his family in the year that we were together. Like,
So basically the man did not even value her enough to show her off to his family. Like, it's always important to leave from the first red flag. Once a man shows you a sign, it just takes one sign that he does not value you. As a woman that value yourself, you should be out from that situation. Because that particular thing you're begging him to do for you, if he values you enough, he's not going to allow you to beg him to do it for you. The woman that he values is not going to beg him to do it for her. He's going to do it from his free will. In short, he's going to be the person suggesting it to her that he wants to do it for her. If a man truly, truly wants to be in your life and a man values you, there are things you're not supposed to beg for, things like going to see his family. There are things you should not beg for. He should be the one initiating things. A lot of women need to start being self-reliant on themselves. A lot of women need to stop relying so much on romantic relationships, because that's where you get your hopes dashed. That is where you get used, you get played, you get your heart broken for a man that is not even worth it. A man that does not even value you. He doesn't know your worth. Yeah, like ladies, it's very important to decenter men. And from the description that she described him, it's obvious that she was just managing him. He was technically not her type. He was not an ideal man that she wanted for herself, but maybe he was the available option. So she stuck with him throughout everything she saw that she did not like in the man. But because she probably wanted a man by her side, she stuck by. And the end result is tears. Some women, they know that these men are not worth being with. But just for the sake of having a man in their life, because they don't want to be alone, they're scared of being alone, they just get with this man and take up all the bullshit and ignore all the red flags and stay there until they are used up by this man and discarded. That's when they've come to their realization. No, you shouldn't wait that long to come to your senses.
you guys, when they value a woman and see a future with her and genuinely like her, they move and behave differently. And it's just devastating to see that. I don't want to be with him. He's a bad partner. Being with him is basically signing up to be his fucking hospice nurse because he doesn't take care of his health and he has a chronic health condition. And again, can't stress this enough. His dick doesn't work. I don't want to be with him, but just the knowledge that I poured so much of my energy and time and love into this fucking relationship.
Honestly, she should not have let it go that far, because right now she's vindictive. This is what you get when you let a man play with you. This is what you get when you stay with a man that you're not supposed to be with. This is what you get when you center a man instead of yourself. When you're with a man that you know in your heart that he does not deserve you, but somehow in your head you feel like you cannot get with a better man. So you settle for the one in front of you. And you take up all his bullshit and whatever. When he decides to leave you, you will end up being a vindictive woman, trying to get back at him, trying to avenge all the years that he wasted, be bitter and all of that, which is wrong. You shouldn't get to this place where you're bitter, you're vindictive, you're angry at yourself, because that's the stage that it looks like, because she's body shaming him. Yeah, so it shouldn't get to this level before you realize yourself. That's all I'm basically saying. All this rage is not important for a man. Trust me. All the energy that you're gonna waste being angry into trying to heal, if you poured that energy into yourself, the kind of productivity that you would have used that energy for would have blown your mind off. So what is decentering men? Decentering men is basically pulling back your energy and centering your life around you, being the main character in your life. Main character energy. As a woman, you need to have main character energy, because That is how you become a high value woman, by pouring into yourself. The energy that you're going to be wasting on men that don't even like you, on relationship and centering a man, trying to please a man, trying to get the attention of a man. If you pour that energy into yourself, you're going to achieve a lot. That time you're pouring into a relationship is good enough time for you to read a book. It's good enough time for you to invest into yourself and learn a skill, learn something, pour into your business, pour into yourself as a woman, learn about yourself, stay in your solitude, and grow as a human being. Because all you're going to get when you're centering men, when all your life is about getting a man, being married, trying to get into a relationship and stressing over relationship and man problems, that time, if it's poured into you, you're going to be so productive. Because I've done it and I've applied it in my life and it's been worth my while. When you begin to understand that life is beyond male and female interaction, male and female relationship, you'll begin to see the quality of your life changing. I made a video one time about the importance of staying alone. There are lots of videos anyways on YouTube about women talking about the quality of their lives when they began to stay alone without a man in their life, when they began to learn about themselves, when they began to pour into themselves and decenter men. Their lives turned around for the better. It's just naturally how the Creator, God, created us. Anything you pour your energy into, you feed it, and that becomes your reality. If you begin to pour your energy, everything about your life on a man, you are going to feed that energy. All your life, your attention is going to be on that. That is basically all that's going to matter in your life. That is like where your energy is going to go to, and that is the results that you're going to be getting. But when you start pouring energy into yourself, when you start pouring into yourself, when you start investing into yourself, you're going to see the quality of your life take a new trajectory. When you begin to stay around more females that are healthy, more friendships that are healthy, and less of masculine energy and all those toxic energy, you're going to see the results in your life. I'm not trying to say you cannot have healthy male relationships, but it's different. Female relationships for me is way, way different from male relationships, because we all know where that gets, like, most of the time it goes the opposite direction. But yeah, it's just safe. It's just better to invest in healthy female relationships where y'all are working together to make your lives better, improve your quality of life, investing in each other's lives, growing together, dreaming big dreams together, accomplishing things together. You will just notice life begins to take another form for the better. Anyways, if you want to hear the full story, I'm going to be putting her handle on the screen here, so you can go check her out on her TikTok page.
You are a woman, especially one of the girlies, and you're having trouble understanding why you need to decenter men. Let me plead my case here. When men are asked about why they stay in marriages that they will say are loveless, that they're not happy, whatever, they will cite two reasons. They will cite money and the kids. So that's telling you exactly what they are prioritizing, what they love the most. If we take a deeper look at that, I think it's fair to say that most men love their money the most. So that's their number one priority. That comes in the number one position. Now, obviously, if they love their money the most, number two position is going to be work or whatever it is they're doing to create that stream of income. We're already at number two. Number three would then be the kids, if he has them. Okay. Number four, you have to think about, well, if it's money and kids, number four is going to be the pastimes, interests, and hobbies that he can enjoy as a result of the money and the kids. We're already at position number four, right? Okay, number five might be his romantic relationship or partner. However, you need to understand most men actually view their romantic partner as a vending machine of schmegs because they prioritize their physical needs in the relationship. That's what they see the purpose of having a partner.
Yeah. And if you talk to men, if you talk to married men, I've not heard of any married man that says what gives him happiness is his wife and his kids. No, what most men will tell you gives them happiness and fulfillment is their career, first of all, then their kids. Because most men prioritize legacy. They feel like they're very important. Their legacy is very important to them. Unlike women that would say, oh, my priority is my husband and my kids, men always prioritize their career first. Yeah. So why don't we as women learn from these men and start prioritizing our careers first? Why do we often put them first? I understand it's some social conditioning, yeah, the patriarchy again. But like, do we see the difference between a man and a woman? Women, we are the ones that take them that personal. They don't take us that personal. They don't prioritize us the way we prioritize them in our lives. If not for the benefits that men get from women, they would not be with women. But on the contrary, women, we prioritize them. We put them as first place in our lives. We've been conditioned to put them first, to think that we should draw our happiness from putting them first, from having a husband, from catering to your husband, your kids, and then put your career last. And this is the reason why most women would feel guilty for even prioritizing themselves. Most women would feel guilty that they actually think that they want to be selfish. Most women would feel guilty for putting their needs first, because that is how we've been conditioned to think. Whereas the men are conditioned to put themselves first. They put themselves first no matter what. A man's needs would always come first before anything else. If you've been around men, you know what I'm talking about. Men always put their needs first. They come first. They don't play with themselves. They are very selfish to the core. At least that is one important thing that we as women need to start learning from them, is to put ourselves first and needs first. They would definitely guilt trip you and make some stupid comments to try to change your mind and make you feel like you're not woman enough, you're not doing the right thing, you're not a wife material, you're not worthy of being called a wife or whatnot. I see that as a compliment, in fact. When you're not wife material, when you're not, it means you're not usable to a man. It means a man cannot use you. So yeah, you should be happy if a man thinks you're not wife material. But when a man thinks you're wife material, you are that stereotypical woman that puts every person first except herself. And then you know there's something wrong with you. You're doing something absolutely wrong. So ladies, one thing I want us to draw from this, put yourself first. Like, learn to put yourself first. Because men would always put themselves. Decenter men, center yourself, center your career, put the things that you love first. Learn yourself first. Understand, like, learn about yourself. You are a human being outside of men, outside of a man. You are a human being. I remember a video that went viral, I think 6 months ago. An old woman that said she wished she never married. She's late now. I think if I remember her name, I'll put it on the screen. They asked her why, and she said because it was after all the men she lost. Her husband died. Her father died. That was when she found out that she was just her. All the while, she was just taking up the identity of her dad, her husband. She found out that she had no identity outside of her husband and her dad. You know, when they give birth to you as a girl child, you're giving your dad's name, your dad's last name. You are identified to a man from birth. And then they give you out to marriage. You are identified by your husband's name. So, when all these figures in her life died, she was left with her name, herself. She began to learn about herself and saw that all the while she never centered herself. She always was attached to men and the identity that she was given. So women, we need to learn ourselves, learn thyself and know who you are outside of a man, outside of the identity that society gives you that is supposed to be attached to a man's name. And I understand that as humans, we are codependent on each other, but that can get you in a lot of trouble if you're codependent on people. If you've not learned to be dependent on yourself to a very large extent, especially as a woman, you're going to land yourself in a lot of trouble because you are not going to be able to even stay without a relationship. You can't exist outside of a relationship. Some people are scared of being by themselves. Some people are scared of themselves, actually. Yeah, life is boring. Life is a lot of things. But at some point, you need to face life. If you are really ready to grow as a human being, you need to face your demons. And that involves being by yourself, not being distracted by people, not being codependent on people, on relationships to fulfill you. You need to learn to call back your energy and learn to sit by yourself in solitude and be happy. Because that is how you learn about yourself. That is how you call your energy back from people. That is how you learn to center yourself. That is how you learn to love your own company. That's how you can be by yourself and people are not around you and yet you're happy. If you're still dependent on people to give you happiness, to give you fulfillment, then I'm sorry, you still have a long way to go. So the question is, how do you learn to start centering yourself? You need to start learning to love your company. You need to start learning to be by yourself. You need to start learning about yourself and not condemning yourself. You need to start loving yourself and have the mentality that you are enough. You came into this world by yourself and you alone are enough. You have to have a very strong sense of worth. You have to have a personality. You need to basically be a strong woman, a woman of your own self. A woman that does not need people to validate her. A woman that validates herself, that loves herself, that reads widely. A voracious reader. A woman that has critical thinking skills, that has developed these skills over time. You need to learn about yourself. How do you learn about you? You only learn about yourself in your solitude. Let's watch this clip together.
Let's talk about why you need to decenter men in your midlife, especially as you enter into your main character era. Now, it's not that I hate men, I just don't need a man in my life. That men still think, and we think this too, like it's in our shadow side, we think men are superior and women are inferior. Women believe that they are powerless, that they are victims. True. And I get it. I could keep unpacking this, and this is all in our DNA. We carry this. But what I've seen, and all through my research and all through my studies, is women are so powerful. And women, you need to stop thinking that you're powerless. You've got to stop dropping into your victim frequency, your victim archetype. And how do you do this? Stop thinking someone's going to come and save you. Stop putting men and women on a pedestal. Stop thinking there are gurus out there. Remove everybody from above you and stand there yourself. Stand your ground in your life.
Yeah, I wanted to point out, from a young age, as a woman, we've been conditioned to behave like weaklings. As a society, we've associated powerlessness to femininity and powerfulness to masculinity. As a matter of fact, there's a way you would solve some problems, especially physical problems, that people would start calling you masculine. People would shame you for that and tell you, no, that is supposed to be for a man. You as a woman, you're not supposed to be that strong. You're supposed to be dependent on a man to do that for you. And then you now begin to feel bad that you did something, that you solved a problem, that you did not wait for a man to do that for you. This is how from a young age, we've been raised to think of ourselves. And then we begin to think of ourselves smaller. We begin to think of ourselves as less and inferior to the men. Kids growing up and you see a girl child, strong or wanting to do sports, and everybody's telling you, don't do that. That's for men. It's too strong. It's too masculine. That's the conditioning that happens, and it happens in different areas of a woman's life. Because everybody else is going to be telling you that stronger things, and when you're solving a problem, when you're independent as a woman, it looks masculine to the outside world. As a matter of fact, people equate a hardworking and successful woman to masculinity. They tell you you're too masculine for wanting to achieve much, for wanting to be independent, for wanting to have money. We associate all the good things, all the powerful things in the world to masculinity, and then the powerless and inferior things we associate it to femininity. This is why most women feel less of themselves. This is why most women would rather depend on a man than depend on themselves. Most women would not even try, because to them, if they try to do those things, they would be labeled masculine, and that is supposed to be an insult. I would say this is a major problem that needs to be tackled in our society, because if girls are conditioned to think that being independent on themselves and doing things on their own and being a woman of yourself is masculine, that's a problem we need to tackle, because that is a wrong mentality to grow up with. Women are the strongest people. Women are the groomers of society. Most of our moms were the most intelligent women that we know. Most of our moms were the strongest women that we know. Women push out babies, yet women are called the weaker vessels. That's not true. Physical strength is not the only compass to measure strength. There's mental strength. There's organizational strength. There's a lot of things that women are very, very much capable of doing in society. We do not need men to do that. That's a very important point. We need to start tackling some things from the roots.
Shift your identity right now, this very moment. Shift it into main character energy. You are the star of the show, your show, and you get to write the script of your show too. Focus on yourself. Stop looking over there. One of the things I say, you've got to stay in your own lane. Stop being in everyone's business. Start focusing deeply on yourself. Stop caretaking. Stop trying to solve everyone else's problems. You haven't got an inexhaustible amount of energy. This is why you think you're powerless, because your energy is going everywhere else but you. Women are becoming more emotionally mature and men haven't caught up yet. Women are growing, they're evolving. Men are being a little bit more stubborn and they still think that they don't have to do any work. Stop doing all the emotional labor, especially for men. That's what I found in my last marriage. I was doing all the emotional labor, and yet it's like taking care of a house, taking care of the kids. It's not looked upon as, it's not given a value, and yet your job is to give it a value. Doing all the emotional labor in a relationship is exhausting. You want, as I said right at the beginning, I don't hate men, and it's like, I'm not telling you not to be with a man. What I'm suggesting is you decenter them. You stop thinking that they're going to shift, transform your life. More often than not, they're not going to do that.
100%. Decenter men from your life. Stop thinking that they are going to make the quality of your life better. Stop thinking that you need them for your life to be complete, for physical security that you've been conditioned to think you need them for. Start pouring into yourself as a woman. If a man should be in your life, do not center him. Always center your life. Relationships and men are just a part of your life if you must be in one. It should not be a major part of your life. It should be a little part of your life. That's the way I see it, and that's the way it should be. You should be the center of your life. Your desires, your ambition, your dreams, you should be the center of your life. You should be the center of your attention. All the attention, all your energy should be poured into you, because guess what? Those men are pouring into themselves. So you should do the same. And you shouldn't do it because you're acting. You should do it from a place of understanding that you are primarily the most important person to you in this life. You should do it because you matter, because you have inner love for yourself, because you're an enigma, because you're powerful, because you are aware of the beauty that you are, that you carry as a human being, as a woman. Women are the most powerful and the most beautiful beings on earth. Argue with your keypad. Yeah. And on that note, we've come to the end of this video. Don't forget to leave your comments below in this comment section. And don't forget to like this video if you found it educating. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because of course on this channel we'll talk about a lot of social issues that affect women, social issues in this society that people don't talk about. But we talk about them and we discuss about it on this channel. And in case you don't know me, my name is Joy. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Have a blessed day. Bye.